Probably should have warned you about the hand claps, but I'm sure you made some comment in your reaction about them.
Why would I?
Yeah, that's so beneath you, John. You're right.
I'm just gonna cut this 3 paragraphs here. Um, hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Audiophiles. My name's John. His name is Andy. Bear movie on this one. Like Louis Armstrong played that trumpet. I'll hit that bong and break you off something soon. I gotta get my props. Cops come try to snatch my crops. These pigs want to blow my house down. More on that later. But we have a tune to get to. Andy, from your selection box, none of the coffee ones, please. What have you got for us?
I have got a track called Tightrope, and it is by a group called Yeasayer. Have you ever heard of Yeasayer?
Nay, says.
Okay. Well, he says nay, I say yay. Go off and give this band, Yeasayer, and their positive outlook a listen, and come back and let me know what you think.
That's an interesting start. Jesus, a lot going on there. It's really thickly textured. So you've got this nice sort of 2-1 tom beat, dun 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 dun, and you got like the is it bells shaking over the top, and this synth line that's going dun 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 dun. It's all given a bit of a sort of tilting quality to it, so it's seesawing a bit, and then in comes this guitar. It's really heavily reverbed, but there's other stuff going on behind it. It sounds like animals chattering. I was like frogs and seagulls. And there's definitely some sort of vocals as well, I think, that are kind of harmonizing as well. But it's all building on that sort of same motif, that musical sort of seesawing motif. It's interesting, but wow, it's a lot musically, sonically going on. It's just, but it's a short song. Let's go back a bit. I think it's around here somewhere.
So you're wishing that you never did all the embarrassing things you've done, and you're wishing you could set it right, and you're wishing you could stay the night. But then I go again, wishing never solved the problem. If you wanna get it big time, go ahead and get it big time.
Okay, your man's singing. He's got a decent voice, and he's for the most part he's singing it fairly straight. I think there's like a touch of reverb on his voice. I think there's some reverb on the percussional song. It's starting to sound like it's almost phasing a little bit. Um, and then as you sing this sort of vocalizing bit here, you get, I think it's a synth line perhaps, that's sort of going, duk, 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 and it kind of reminds me of Tom Tom Club. Don't know why, just does. And I get a picture of a fat little duck waddling around. Again, I don't know why. But interesting.
So I think I can solve all problems by myself. Oh, never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind. And you think you can solve all your problems by yourself. Oh, never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind.
Piano. Didn't notice that before. Hand claps.
I give it, give it, give it, give it, give it, until you just can't give no more. I give it, give it, give it, give it, give it, until you just can't give no more.
That's some sort of bass, really low rumbling going on there. But no, just a touch. Yeah, there was so much going on, really thickly layered, textured. You had, I thought I could hear some sort of voices chattering, which got more pronounced right towards the end. Even that little end bit there, that synth sound, doing best impersonation of a pouring of water. And there was other things that sounded again like sort of all like bird trills and stuff. Yeah, really interesting. It seemed like stuff was coming in and either reinforcing or replicating other parts that are all in that same musical motif of those like 6 notes, the same, then up and then down. Really interesting. It's quite a nice song, but it feels a little bit sort of unresolved at the end, like we've just seen a part of it. I don't know if that's a terrible thing or not. It's just a feeling rather than a criticism. Yeah, interesting song. Let's find out some more. And the only way we can do that, and believe me, I've tried loads of other ways, not having. But the only way we can do that is go back and talk to Andy.
All right, you return from walking the tightrope. What say you? Yay?
I'll be honest with you, this one, he says literally doing it is a bit of a head scratcher.
Yeah.
I liked it, but it's really a one listen reaction is tough because there's a shitload going on in this and it's so thick and textured. So starts off with this percussion. You got a thumping tom and you got the bell shaker, I think it was. There's a lot of stuff in this which I'm not a lot. There's some stuff in this which I'm not sure what is making the noises I'm hearing.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll get to that. But it all gives you this flickering, almost crunchy nature to the sound. Added on top of this is a synth line. The kind of seesaws. So it's like a 2-note motif that goes and then up, and then down, and then back again. So it's doing this like 6-note rotation. And it basically, you add that to the 2-1 tom pattern, you get this sort of tilting sensation listening to it, which is really interesting. And after about 30 seconds, in comes this that starts to kind of mimic the synth line as well. So we've got this musical motif that's been, passed on. And there's other sounds as well. Now, it's tough for me to sort of get what they were. In my head, it was animals chattering. I'm thinking frogs and seagulls.
Yeah, it's so funny because I know it's not animals, but when I listen to this, I always am I like, is that a bird chirping? What kind of woodland creature am I hearing? Right. So I understand exactly what you're saying, even though I think we both know that's not the sounds that we're hearing.
Yeah. And there's also something which at first I thought was synthetic, but it may actually be human making harmonizing notes. It's weird because when it starts, they're lower down in the mix and they do not sound human. But as they rise up, and then we're only still in the space of 3 seconds, then they sound more human towards the end. So there's a real texture going on. There's a lot going on as well. The vocalist begins, and I caught some words. So you're wishing you never did all the embarrassing things you've ever done. I mean, just getting that written down was enough. And then he says something about set it right and stayed the night, and something about getting it big time. His voice is decent and he sings it pretty straight. I have to say, up until that point, I was fearing a sort of affected noughties vocal, and it wasn't. His decent voice. And I think there's an ever so slight touch of reverb on his voice as well. But there isn't a lot of things, and that effect either grows or quietens down as well, which gives another layer to this song. He vocalizes that sort of that main phrase, and then sort of going into like a chorusy bit, and I think it's the synth line. There's that sort of quick little waddle across the tune. And I pictured a duck being powered by headphones playing Tom Tom Club synths, because it's kind of like, we said this before something else recently, it's kind of Talking Heads adjacent, but it isn't, what I mean? So it's thickly layered here and there's just lots going on. And it seems almost like each new thing coming in is layering on top of a previous related musical element, and it's either reinforcing or replacing. So you're getting these things are almost interconnected. There's a real structural feel to it as well. So the vocalist now opens up more. So you think you can solve all your problems by yourself, and he's really, he's belting it a bit. And then he adds some character to the next lines. So never mind, never mind, never mind, and it sounds like he's going downstairs. And then we get a bit more of the Tom Tom Duck coming waddling back in. At that point, because there's a lot of dynamics to this as well, so it quiets down. At this point, I noticed the piano for the first time. It could have easily just winked at me and said, "I've been here all along, buddy," but I don't know. The percussion at this point seems to be almost phasing more. I'm wondering if it's the reverb that's doing that, so it's sort of going because it's slightly reverbing, so it gives this almost phasing quality, which is really interesting. And there's definitely some ambient noises underneath. I thought it was people talking as well as the backing harmonies as well. The carousel of musical parts turns again, and we get the guitar coming back in. And after a few lines, I think I get a it's almost like substructural earthquake warning fucking bass noise. I mean, it's not really any melody to it or anything. I don't know, blue whale or something. But anyway, we get that. And then just at the end, we get this, it all comes back again. It's all like building up, and it sounds like pretty much everything is in there at that point. And then at the end, we just get the hubbub of voices rising. So it's definitely people talking. And then we get this synth right at the end doing his best impersonation of pouring water, and it fades to completion. Although it's a really interesting tune. And it pretty much built on that 2-note, 6-note motif and smatterings, especially in the second half of this sort of Talking Heads polyrhythms thing, even though it doesn't sound like them, but it's that approach. I think the overall song at the end felt unresolved to me, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. It just, that's what I felt. I'm not saying that I dislike it because of that. It just felt like we were getting a snippet of this song's journey, and it could have gone on and done other things. So yeah, I liked it. I thought it was really interesting, but there's so much going on that it was hard for me to perhaps enjoy it as much as I would do on second or third or fourth listens. You know what I mean?
No,
It's
totally
just,
know what you mean.
and
I think
but yeah, really interesting and well thought out and put together.
Yeah, and I think you're right that it is definitely one of those songs with all these moving parts and different levels to them that it requires a repeat listen for sure. The band Yeasayer. They were an American experimental rock band from Brooklyn, New York, formed in 2006. The band consisted of Chris Keating, Ira Wolf Tutan, and Anand Wilder. They first came to attention after appearing at South by Southwest Festival in early 2007. And Keating and Wilder had previously met and begun performing together while in high school at the Park School of Baltimore, the alma mater of fellow experimental musicians, Animal Collective. So
I knew there's something off about them.
yeah, right. Easy. These guys came sort of the same umbrella as Animal Collective, who has appeared on this channel before. Chris Keating attended the Rhode Island School of Design, or RISD, graduating from the Film Animation Video Department in 2004. And while attending that school, Keating started experimenting and playing a new type of musical sound. He reached out to Anand Wilder, and they started playing music together again, eventually forming this band. And the band's lineup is relatively unique, with Keating and Wilder both serving as lead vocalists and principal songwriters, and the band producing the songs together as a unit. Wilder, who began playing cello when he was 4, described the songwriting styles to Pitchfork. When I write a song, I'm always thinking of the harmonies. For me, the song doesn't really exist without harmonies. For example, Forgiveness would be a reasonably boring melody without the choir behind it. Chris resisted any formal musical training, but his sense of melody and songcraft is just astounding. The band is self-described as Middle Eastern psych snap gospel. So that's a mouthful. Wilder has referenced influences including Bollywood soundtracks from the 70s, Mapfumu records, and Celtic music. Yeasayer's leader, Chris Keating, stated he got a lot of inspiration and lyrics from books that I've read, poetry or lines from a movie. Art is a constant back and forth. Everyone is responding to someone else. Every song that you think is an original idea, someday you're going to come across something in a children's book that has the exact words you heard in your favorite song on the radio. Art is constantly curating the vast history of music, art, and literature. Keating has cited other music genres and artists that have inspired him, such as mystical, Susie and the Banshees, Talk Talk, Dead Can Dance, and classical music. Their debut album, All Our Symbols, which was released in October of 2007, it had many critics describing the album as having spiritual influences. Wilder expanded on this in an interview, stating, "When you lack any specific religion, you become open to all sorts of religious music." And I think everyone can agree that some of the most beautiful music ever written was done so in the name of God or gods. In 2008, Yeasayer toured with MGMT and Man Man and supported Beck. The band also played at Lollapalooza, the Pitchfork Music Festival, the Austin City Limits Festival, Bonnaroo, Sasquatch Music Festival, and the Reading Leeds Festivals. The band would go on to release 4 more albums after their debut: Odd Blood in 2010, Fragrant World in 2012, Amen and Goodbye in 2016, and Erotic Reruns in 2019, all of which received varying degrees of commercial success and plenty of critical acclaim. In 2009, Yeasayer contributed to this track, Tightrope, to the AIDS benefit album Dark Was the Night, produced by the Red Hot organization. Dark Was the Night is the 20th compilation release benefiting the Red Hot organization and an international charity dedicated to raising funds and awareness for HIV and AIDS. John Carlin, the founder of the Red Hot organization, was the executive producer of the album. The title is derived from the Blind Willie Johnson song Dark Was the Night, Cold Was the Ground, which is covered on this collection by the Kronos Quartet. As of May 2012, Dark Was the Night has raised over $1.6 million, a sum that represents all the profits from worldwide sales. John Carlin acknowledged the reason for this album's success, saying Dark Was the Night encapsulated the spirit and creativity of a new generation of musicians whose work struck a chord and got people to actually purchase the album and raise hundreds of thousands of dollars to fight AIDS. That number obviously now is expanded to millions.
Yeah, can I just say, that's really interesting. I don't know about this, but I had a CD from the 90s and it was called America is Dying Slowly. And it's exactly the same, which the initials spell out AIDS.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know where it is now. Oh, let's do it ages. I'd say half of it was hip hop. Yeah, for some reason I've got Sub Pop in my mind as the label, but it probably wasn't, thinking about the bands that were on it. But it's interesting that was done in the 90s, and I've never seen anything like that since. It's good to know that they've done that sort of stuff.
Yeah, given that this was the 20-something iteration of this, right? That they've done this several times before, this Red Hot organization banding together music or musicians of the time to, put out albums to just continually generate funds to help this cause. It's very admirable. Other artists who appear on this compilation include David Byrne collaborating with Dirty Projectors, The Books featuring Jose Gonzalez covering Nick Drake's cello song, Feist, Ben Gebert, Bon Iver, Grizzly Bear, The National, the Decemberists, Iron and Wine, and many more. So a lot of very popular bands and musicians, many of which we've covered on this channel. Digital and print publications welcomed the album with rave reviews and high scores. Drowned in Sound awarded it an 8 out of 10. Toro scored it an 8.5 stars. Pitchfork gave it an 8.6 out of 10. The Skinny awarded it a perfect 5 out of 5, and Music Feed scored it a perfect 10 out of 10. So let's jump into these lyrics. So you're wishing that you never did all the embarrassing things you've done, and you're wishing you could set it right, and you're wishing you could stay the night. But then I go again, wishing never solved the problem. If you want to get it big time, go ahead and get it big time. So I think I can solve all the problems by myself. Oh, never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind. And you think you can solve all the problems by yourself. Oh, never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind. Give it, give it, give it, give it until you can't give no more. Give it, give it, give it, give it until you can't give no more. Give it, give it, give it until you just can't give no more. Give it, give it, give it, give it until you just can't give no more. And those are the lyrics. Very succinct as far as lyrical content goes. But yes, Yeasayer's Tightrope may initially sound like a foray into existential musings set against an experimental pop backdrop, but a closer inspection reveals lyrical web that refuses to be easily untangled. Seductive in its melody, yet intricate in its message, Tightrope is more than a song. It's an intricate dance across the fine line of personal reflection and self-forgiveness. The relentless cadence of the lyrics, matched with the song's hypnotic rhythm, pushes the listener to meander through the shadowy corridors of human vulnerability and the universal need for resolution. Yet what sets Tightrope apart is its capacity to resonate on multiple emotional frequencies, tapping into the psyche with a subtlety that is both enigmatic and revealing. That, according to
Yuri Geller?
Yeah, sure. No, I don't think I wrote down the source, unfortunately. I apologize for that. But yes, I was definitely quoting somebody there. Sadly, the band announced that it had split via its social media accounts on December 19th, 2019, with a simple, succinct statement, almost, if not more succinct than these lyrics, stating, "We have decided that Yeasayer has reached its end." And they put a bow on it, never to be heard from again. So, really fun, interesting band. Again, leaning into that experimental stuff that we saw in Animal Collective. And I thought, why not bring them to the channel? And while also kind of low key shedding light on this great compilation album that's definitely worth checking out. Anybody out there who may have had their interest piqued by some of the artists that feature on that, it's a really good listen. And it was done for a good cause, so go out there and check it out if you would. And also some of Yeasayer's actual, like, their works, their albums, some really good stuff on there as well. So thanks for giving this a listen, John. Really appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. Particularly the sort of percussive stroke sort of layered approach, sort of texture to it. I
Yes.
wouldn't say that it took me down corridors of human vulnerability, but you know, it was interesting, you know, and I enjoyed the ducks as well.
Yeah, who wouldn't enjoy the ducks? Oh man. Well, thank you again for giving this a listen. Guys out there in the listening audience, let us know what you thought of Tightrope by Yeasayer. If there's other stuff that we should check out by them, if this reminded you of anything that you've heard of before, please, whatever you want to contribute, the comments field is there for everybody to use. Just be kind. We love interacting with you guys and seeing you all interact with one another. Also, while we have your attention, please think about liking, sharing, and or subscribing. Any and all of those things go a long way in helping us kind of spread the audiophile love out there and bring new ears and voices to the channel. As you know, we do our Friday installments where you guys are like as integral as we are Monday through Thursday to those episodes. And we really rely on your excellent suggestions and kind of expanding our musical horizons, as we hope we're doing throughout the rest of the week. So thanks again. Hopefully, John and I will see all y'all in growing numbers on the next installment of the Audiophiles. See you later, guys.